Protesters participating in a Satyagraha campaign calling for the immediate removal of a landfill in Kolonava were dispersed by the police today. DIG Andra Senanayaka today requested a withdrawal of a prior order issued by court ordering that area residents blocking the road in the area should move away before Colombo Additional Magistrate Prasanna Alvis today.
The DIG requested a withdrawal of this order as area residents were not for its implementation. The police requested court to issue a conditional order instead. However, lawyers representing the area residents had objected to this. Lawyers pointed out that although the Supreme Court had ordered prior to this that the landfill should be relocated, authorities have as yet failed to carry out this order. They said that if the Colombo Municipal Council was able to give a pledge to court that the dumping of waste will be ceased within 3 months and a practical program would be prepared, then the residents would consider moving. The lawyer representing the Municipal Council said that the dumping of waste at this location would be halted as soon as possible. The magistrate noted that if the area residents are disturbing the peace, then a court order is not required and a police officer senior to a police inspector could take steps to disperse them.
අපේ රාජකාරියක් කරන්න කරුණා කළා ප්ලීස් අපිට උදව් කරන්න මල්ලි උදව් කරන්න
Right, ඔක්කොම ඉඳ ගන්න වාඩි වෙන්න. ඇතුළට ඉඳ ගන්න කට්ටිය. ඔක්කොම
කට්ටිය වාඩි වෙන්න කට්ටිය වාඩි.
ඇතුළට ඉඳ ගන්නකෝ.
After the group was dispersed, DIG Andra Senanayaka also arrived at the scene. Journalists made inquiries from him regarding the incident.
ඔයාලා කතාවේ දාන්නේ භාගයයි. සම්පූර්ණයි දාන්නේ. සම්පූර්ණ කතාව දානවා කියනවා මම කියන්නේ. සම්පූර්ණ දානවා. නෑ නේ පාපා. කියන කන්නකො. නෑ.
After the situation was brought under control, a group of people expressed their woes. Meanwhile, a group of people remained at Rahula College Mitotumulla until the 5 people who were arrested when the protesters were dispersed returned. The group then got together to welcome the group who were released on police bail.
An Indian parliamentary delegation arrived in the island last night. Secretary to the Ministry of External Affairs, Dr. Karunatilaka Amanugama, said that the delegation will remain in Sri Lanka until the 12th of this month.
Indian media reported that 7 Indian parliamentarians were to visit Sri Lanka. However, only 5 members arrived in the island last night. The 5 delegates in Sri Lanka at the moment are MP Saugata Roy, representing the All India Trinamool Party, MP Prakash Javadkar, representing the Bharatiya Janata Party, MP Sandeep Dixit, representing the Indian National Congress, MP Anurad Thakur, representing the BJP, and MP Dhananjay Singh, representing the Bahujan Samaj Party. The delegation visited Parliament this afternoon. Indian media reported recently that the purpose of the delegation's visit is to hold political and business discussions with Sri Lankan authorities.
Speaker Chamal Rajapaksa informed Parliament on the determinations made by the Supreme Court regarding the bills that were challenged at the Supreme Court.
I am pleased to inform Parliament on the decisions made by the Supreme Court regarding the bills that were challenged at the Supreme Court.
මූල්‍ය කළමනාකරණ වගකීම සංශෝධන ක්‍රමෝපාය සංවර්ධන ව්‍යාපෘති සංශෝධන එකතු කළ අගය මත බදු සංශෝධන උත්පැල්ලීම සහ සූදු බදු සංශෝධන ජාතිය ගොඩනැගීමේ බදු සංශෝධන දේශීය ආදායම් සංශෝධන බදු අභියාචනා කමිෂන් සභාව සංශෝධන මුදල් නොතාරිස් සංශෝධන लेखन लियापदिंच किरीमे संशोधन अटोनी බලපත්‍ර සංශෝධන හේත සඳහන් පනත් කෙටුම්පත් හෝ ඒවායේ විධිවිධාන.
The Supreme Court has determined that none of the above bills or their provisions are inconsistent with the Constitution.
තුන වැනි ව්‍යවස්ථා ප්‍රකාරව ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨාධිකරණය තීරණය කර ඇත.
Government and opposition MPs expressed their views over several bills at the House of Legislation today.
දැනට තියෙනවා මේ රටේ කැසිනෝ. අන්න ඒවා හරහා යනවා මිසක් විශාල
There are casinos in the country at present. We will only move through them and do not hope to implement any large-scale changes. However, betting or gambling is one of the key attractions in the global tourism industry. It may be something done with a long-term plan, but we have to make those decisions. This tax system should be created and we should undertake that journey.
සකස් කරගන්න ඕනේ, ඉලක්ක කරගන්න ඕනේ අපේ ඒ ගමන යන්න.
This is happening at a time when the crude oil prices are at a low. Imagine if the crude Brent once again goes to around 125 or 130.
Our balance of payments deficit will go up to about 13 billion.
Over 25% of small and medium-scale companies have gone bankrupt. This is the true economic status of the country. We are not saying this. These are mentioned by persons representing the chambers of commerce. Director General of the State Financial Policy Department at the Ministry of Finance, Mr. Sirivardhana, on the 27th of March 2013, had typed this letter assuming that this bill may be passed in Parliament. According to what is stated in this, the person and the companies, yes, this also concerns companies. However, you have presented this bill with a clause which gives ownership of land in Sri Lanka to a person who is not a Sri Lankan.
සයිමන්ට වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මේක අදාළ වෙන්නේ. අපි අහනවා තමුන්නාන්සේගෙන් සයිමන් and company වලට මොකද වෙන්නේ?
Speaking in Parliament today, Minister of External Affairs Professor G.L. Peiris said that the government's stance on the US-sponsored resolution on Sri Lanka has not changed. The minister made this comment in response to a question raised by opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe on the time frame for implementing the LLRC report recommendations.
I request the government to make a clear statement regarding the change policy. The media has also commented on this change during the weekend. In particular, will the House be informed, 1, where these anticipated talks will take place, whether it will be in Washington DC, Geneva or Colombo. 2, will the government consult all the concerned stakeholders before proceeding? 3, will the government indicate the time frame in which the recommendations, the LLRC, are to be implemented? 4, will the discussions be confined to the US government or include India, United Kingdom and the other countries who voted to adopt the resolution?
There is neither a change of policy nor acceptance, expressly or by implication, of the resolution that is referred to by the Honourable Leader. Now, we reject this resolution, Mr. Speaker, because it is perfectly evident to anyone who cares to be objective what the consequences are. This resolution has been the most powerful catalyst for dissension, discord, even violence. It has divided the Human Rights Council, it has divided the world, it has divided this country, it has also divided some neighboring countries. It has spilled over into areas like cricket, cinema.
Meanwhile, UMP parliamentarian D.S. Swaminathan also commented on the LLRC recommendations and the UNHRC resolution in Parliament today.
I am extremely sorry to say that we as parliamentarians are addressing this assembly, but we don't have a clear international policy. We are disregarding the international community totally. We cannot live like frogs in the well. I mean, we can't just talk in this parliament about our internal problem and without having due respect to the foreign affairs of this country and to have respect to the international community is in fact really a backward way of thinking. And I think ultimately the government of Sri Lanka should at least adhere to the basic principle that has been laid down by the Geneva resolution. Go into the LLRC report, which is his own report. We have mentioned it a number of times in this August Assembly, and the amendment and the enforcement of the 13th Amendment. At least if we do this, we have some credibility in the world. Otherwise, we are going to face a tremendous target in the future of this country, which is going to be fairly serious.
United National Party parliamentarian Sajith Premadasa questioned the ruling party on the housing projects that were said to be implemented for the low-income families.
Dinavamu Sri Lanka program in 2005 states that 65,000 houses will be constructed to solve the issue of slum dwellers. The 2010 presidential election manifesto states that programs will be implemented to construct 40,000 housing schemes. So in the time frame between 2005 and 2010, 25,000 houses should have been constructed to solve this issue. But when you take a look at the numbers, not one single house had been constructed between 2005 and 2010. The election manifesto presented in 2010 was accepted by the people in much more higher numbers than in 2005. At present, the Ministry and the Urban Development Authority have initiated 13,000 projects. We will also commence work on another 20,000 projects by the end of this year.
Battling the mighty waves, the tides and the unforgiving depths, fishermen in this country put their lives on the line in order to have a livelihood. However, News First Disnaka Nayanajana recently came across a group of fishermen who are engaged in a battle on land.
These fishermen are from Kiralavalla near Dondra Head. Every day these fishermen have to battle with the land before taking their boats out to sea and when returning with their catch because of the lack of a breakwater at this location. More than 100 fishing boats set out to sea daily from Kiralavalla. Over 500 fishermen rely on this for their livelihoods.
News First වෙනුවෙන් මම දිස්නක නායන්ජන දෙවුන්දර කිරලවැල්ලේ සිට